Drew reveals that she doesn't like working at Menchie's, and she elaborates more by saying that pretty people shouldn't need to do anything.
Working here at Menchie's pretty much sucks. That's not my favorite.
We will first look at the co-owner and CEO of Menchie's, Ahmed.
My name is Amit Kleinberger. I am 33 years old, and I'm the CEO and one of the owners of Menchie's Frozen Yogurt.
Headquartered in California, Menchie's is the largest self-serve frozen yogurt chain in the world. He wanted to go undercover because the company is growing really fast, and he wants to see the ins and outs of his business to see what needs improving. He'll be posing as Alan, an inspiring entrepreneur, competing in a reality show to win money so he can start his own business. For his first job, he travels to Seattle, Washington to work under the shift leader, and he meets up with Dylan, who's a strict boss. Dylan first makes Ahmed button up his shirt and then shows him how to clean up the yogurt dispensers, and Ahmed then follows his instructions and does his best, but Dylan tells him that he needs to be more enthusiastic when he does the job.
Say it with a little bit more enthusiasm, makes it like you like your job.
Welcome to Menchie's.
There you go.
Later, Ahmed learns that Dylan is very ambitious and has big dreams, but he had to quit college because he didn't have the money to pay for it. Dylan needs the education to go higher in the company, but his financial status is keeping him down. The next day, Ahmed travels to Lake Washington to work with another shift leader, and he meets up with Drew, and she shows him around and gives him all of the cleaning job to do by himself, and she just watches him. Ahmed tries to use what he learned from Drew, but since she didn't give him any instruction on how to clean different kinds of machines, he kind of struggles a bit.
Throw that stuff in that.
He then sees Drew making another employee tie her shoe, which he finds really disrespectful. She then takes him to the kitchen and tells him how to slice up the fruits, since she doesn't like to cut fruits. Ahmed doesn't really know how to cut the fruits properly, so he asks her to show him once, but she refuses and just gives some vague instructions on how to do it. He then tries to do his best to cut the fruits, and while he was doing that, the two get to talk, and Drew reveals that she doesn't like working at Menchie's, and she elaborates more by saying that pretty people shouldn't need to do anything.
Working here at Menchie's pretty much sucks. That's not my favorite.
Really?
I feel like pretty people shouldn't have to do anything.
And she also reveals to him that her master plan is to just marry a rich guy that can get her everything that she wants. This plan has not worked yet, so Drew needs to work for now. And she also enjoys bossing around people, which is why she chose this job, and she also needs the money to get a tan so she can be more attractive to rich guys. Drew then leaves the room, and we see her making fun of and insulting Ahmed outside. Ahmed is shocked by her statements and with the way that she treats people, but he doesn't want to blow his cover, so he just puts his head down and finishes his shift. For his next job, Ahmed travels to El Paso, Texas to work in another store. He meets up with Jennifer and she tells him that they're getting ready for a birthday party, so she takes him to help her put the balloons out. Menchie's also provides birthday parties for kids, so Jennifer is responsible for creating the great experience for the kid, and Ahmed also sees that Jennifer is a very energetic person and she really loves her job, unlike Drew. She next teaches him how to greet the customers, and they get ready to welcome them, and everyone arrives shortly after, and the party starts. Ahmed does what he's told.
Alan did really swell with the kids. I thought he was gonna do a little less energy, but he actually surprised me.
And he even wears the Menchie's mascot and dances for the kids, and everyone has fun. For his last job, Ahmed travels to Moreno Valley, California to work in a cow farm. Menchie's operates their own cow farm, which is why every store has high-quality yogurts, and it's one of the main reasons for the company's success. He meets up with Francisco and he takes him to the barn so he can teach him how to milk the cows. He first shows him how to plug the pumping machine onto the cows, and then teaches him how to check if the cows are healthy, which included sticking their hands in the cow's anus to check for things like diarrhea. Ahmed has never done something like this before and is impressed by Francisco's work.
He might have diarrhea, trouble pooping or something like that.
They then go to a pregnant cow who was just about to have a baby, so Francisco asks Ahmed to help and they deliver a calf together. And finally, Ahmed's undercover time comes to an end, and although he had mostly great experiences, there was one person that he didn't know what to do about. And even though that was the case, he invites all of his employees to his office to finally reveal his true identity.
My name is Amit Kleinberger, and I'm the CEO of Menchie's.
Oh, all right.
First in was Drew, and Ahmed tells her that she's the only person that he didn't like, and he confronts her about her disrespectful behavior to him and the other employees, and for also insulting him. Drew tries to defend herself by saying that she was just joking, but Amit was not buying that. He then tells her that he's thought of firing her on the spot, but after thinking about it, he's willing to give her a second chance so she can improve on her behavior. He then offers to send her to a training program where she will learn from other great shift leaders and come back better, and Drew immediately accepts the offer.
Like, get my together and, like, be an adult. I'll get there.
Next in was Dylan, and Amit commends him for being a great shift leader and then gives him a promotion, which makes him the store manager, and this position comes with a really good pay raise. He then gives him $10,000 so he can go back to college, and on top of that, he gives him a brand new car.
Wow. I can't believe that the CEO of my company came to my Menchie's and I taught him how to run his show.
Next in was Jennifer, and he tells her that he loved her energy and loved the time that he spent with her, and then offers to send her to a fully paid family vacation, and also gives her $25,000 to pay for her college tuition.
Now I know that if you work hard enough, amazing stuff will happen to you if you just believe in yourself.
Last in was Francisco, and he tells him that that day that he spent with him was special and very inspiring. He then offers him a fully paid family vacation to the Bahamas, and on top of that, he gives him $30,000 for him to spend on anything that he needs.
It is very amazing to do something that I really like and to be rewarded for that. I mean, it's just like unreal.
President and CEO of ABM Industries, Heinrich Slipsager.
I'm Heinrich Slipsager. I'm President and CEO of ABM Industries.
Headquartered in New York City, ABM Industries is America's #1 provider of building maintenance and facility services, including janitorial, parking, security, and engineering. ABM was started 100 years ago as a window cleaning company, and now it's grown to a $3.6 billion industry. Heinrich will be going undercover as Edward, an out-of-work immigrant from Holland coming to America to compete and get into the service business. For his first job, he travels to Tampa, Florida to work as an airport shuttle driver, and he meets up with Kenny early in the morning, and they get right to work. Kenny's job is very important because if he picks up people late, that would cause a lot of problems in the airport, so he takes his job really seriously. He shows Henry how to drive the shuttle and properly pick up the customers, and Kenny follows the company's rules and guidelines very carefully, which makes Heinrich and the customers pretty happy. As they were driving, Heinrich learns that Kenny has been working this job for 4 years, and he explains that he works the early morning shift at the airport.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been here almost 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he then goes to class, and he also shares that his dream is actually to become a firefighter, which disappoints Heinrich a little as he's gonna lose another great employee. Heinrich then takes the wheel to do the next pickup, but he struggles a lot. He doesn't follow the guidelines, and he passes the speed limit multiple times, but he was still slow to the pickup because he takes too much time loading the customer's baggage. We then see Heinrich accidentally cursing when he encounters a problem.
Going from...
You can't cuss, man. Everybody in the airport is hearing you. You cannot cuss.
Which forces Kenny to take back the wheel and finish the job himself. Heinrich then ends his shift without doing another job, and he was pretty disappointed at himself for not being good at this one, but he was still glad that Kenny was doing his job and plans to keep him on board. The next day, Heinrich travels to Chicago, Illinois to work as a commercial window washer, and he meets up with Peter, and he takes him to the top of the building so they can set up the scaffolding, and Heinrich was scared of heights, so he was very nervous to do the job. While setting up the scaffolding, Heinrich learns that Peter is also an immigrant from Poland, and that he has a son with a disability. Him and his wife both work so they can provide treatment to their son, which he could only get outside of the US, but lately, they've been struggling to even pay the plane tickets travel, let alone get the treatment properly. Peter is thinking of moving back to Europe permanently to save on the plane tickets, but he's not really sure that that's a good plan. We then see them get onto the scaffolding to continue their work, and Heinrich starts shaking as the scaffolding goes up and down, and this makes him unable to perform properly. When Peter notices what's happening, he brings down the scaffolding before finishing their job.
He was really shaking already. I could see his legs are shaking.
And this pretty much meant that Heinrich failed again to do his job, which is really disappointing, but the most disappointing thing for Heinrich at this point is realizing that he's gonna lose another employee. For his next job, he travels to New York City to work in 7 World Trade Center, and this building holds a historical place in New York as it's the first building to be rebuilt after the 9/11 attacks. He meets up with Maria, and she first takes him to the bathroom so they could replace the toilet papers, and then they clean up the bathrooms, which Heinrich struggles with a little, and then we see them moving on to cleaning the windows. As they clean the windows, they see the new buildings that are getting rebuilt after the attacks, and Maria shares that she's lost her nephew that day, who was actually an ABM worker at the time.
I lost my nephew there. He was 27. That's just not right. Every time I look at this grind site, you always think,
This area was the largest job site for ABM, and 17 people that worked for ABM died during the attacks. For his last job, Heinrich requests to work with an employee who was a survivor during the 9/11 attacks, so he is sent to meet up with freight elevator operator Larry. After they meet up, Larry takes him to the elevators and shows him how to operate and check for errors. The two get to talking some more, and Heinrich learns that Larry has been working for the company for about 26 years. Larry's a very hard-working man, and he was growing within the company, but he got a stroke which prevented him from working a more harder and rewarding job.
Why was it you stopped being foreman? Was that
Because I had a stroke, and
Right.
I'm the type.
Really? I can see that.
I'm the type of guy who wants to do the job all the way.
And after a very intense conversation with Larry, who also endured a lot of trauma because of the attack, Heinrich's undercover time comes to an end, and he invites his employees to reveal his true identity.
No, I'm Henrik Slipsager. I'm president and CEO of ABM Industries.
Oh my God.
First in was Maria, and he tells her that he was really impressed by her work and how much she cared about cleanliness, and he then gives her a promotion, which comes with a good raise, and reveals to her that ABM is donating $25,000 to the 9/11 fund in her nephew's name.
could never in a million years expected that's going to happen to me today. I had the greatest experience of my life. I could really break down and cry like a baby.
Next in was Larry, and he tells him his story has inspired him to gather all the survivors of the attack for a reunion party, and Larry was happy to see his old friends, and on top of that, he will also be getting a fully paid vacation with his family.
So here's what I'd like to do for you. I would like to send you guys on a little trip of your choosing.
After that was Kenny, and Heinrich tells him that he loved that he was a diligent worker and that he followed all the rules, and he then tells him that he doesn't want him to leave ABM, so he offers him a fully paid management training so Kenny can get a better paying job within the company.
It's surprised, shocked, everything all in one. You know, everything just...
Last in was Peter, and he tells him how much he loved how diligent he was about safety, and offers him a promotion to become the company's safety counsel, and he then offers to pay for him and his family to go to a trip in Europe so that his son can get the full treatment.
I would like to send you and your family on an all-expenses-paid trip for a month for your son to go through this intensive therapy treatment.
Follow our next boss, the co-owner of Chicago Cubs. With 3 million loyal fans coming to their stadium each year, the Chicago Cubs are one of the most beloved baseball teams in America. He'll be going undercover as Mark, an out-of-work roofer taking part in a reality show where he's going to be tested if he can work for the company. All his work will be in Wrigley Field, the Chicago Cubs stadium, so he arrives at the hotel that's close to the stadium. His first job will be as a cleaner.
Means a busy day at the park. I will be helping clean bathrooms. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure the facilities are running in the most efficient way possible.
So he meets up with Daryl, and he takes him to the bathroom and shows him how to use the power washer. Todd then tries to do the job, but he was too slow, and he also misses certain places, and he even accidentally breaks the mop, and Daryl notices that Todd is not really qualified for the job. On their break, they go to the break room, and Todd sees that it's very crowded and needs to be improved. He then gets to talk to Daryl about his life and learns that Daryl has been with the company for 26 years. He's also a father, but he doesn't get to see his daughter much because of all the workload. Daryl also has a lot of great ideas on how to improve things in the stadium and within the company, but since there's no direct communication from the management to workers, his ideas have not really been implemented yet. After their break, Todd and Daryl continue their job, but this time, Todd accidentally drops cleaning materials, and Daryl is forced to relieve him on his duty. Todd has become more of a problem than a helper, so Daryl tells him that he's done for the day and takes him off the job.
I had to let Mark go. He is not right for this job. I gotta go back and clean up every mistake he made.
After getting fired from his first job, Todd is determined to do better at his next job, which is being a hot dog vendor. He meets up with Rocco, who takes him to the stand, and they start selling hot dogs. Rocco is a great salesman, and he encourages Todd to be more confident while doing sales. Rocco has been working for the company for about 28 years and has a great relationship with all the customers, and he's also a good teacher, so Todd was able to pick up the job faster, but the crowd starts to gather a lot, and he struggles to keep up. Todd then gets a little frustrated when he couldn't sell the last 4 hot dogs, so he takes out money from his pocket and dumps all the hot dogs. And unfortunately for him, Rocco suspects that he dumped the hot dogs and confronts him, but Todd denies throwing out the hot dogs, and Rocco was disappointed with him.
Mark, did you throw hot dogs in the garbage can?
No.
These aren't from you?
No, huh? No.
I don't know, there's one.
And they end their shift after that. For his next job, Todd will be working at a parking lot.
Anytime you go to a sporting event, you have to deal with parking. And what's unique within our situation is that traffic and congestion and parking are things that always come up.
And he meets up with Jose, and he teaches him how to lead the customers to the specified slots. Jose then leaves Todd alone, and he starts off okay, but after a few cars, he sees the cars are not perfectly parked. And it is here that a disaster strikes when Todd's friend parks his car and calls Todd by his real name, and not knowing he was undercover, he talks to him in private and tells him about what he's doing.
We're shooting an episode of Undercover Boss. Oh. I have to keep it a secret.
All right, man. Take it easy, Todd. Thank you.
I'll see you later.
Thankfully, Jose was focused on the job and didn't hear Todd's real name getting called out, so his cover was safe. For his next job, Todd goes to join the grounds crew.
Today I'm going undercover with the grounds crew. The field at Wrigley, it's super important because it's the surface that we play on.
He meets up with Joe, and they go to the field and they start fixing up the field. And the playing field has to be perfect for the game, so the job is really important. Todd follows Joe's lead, and even though the job was physically demanding, he has his best performance during that job. For his last job, Todd joins Daryl to work as a scoreboard operator, and this time, Todd was determined not to get fired, and he follows the instructions and does pretty well. And finally, Todd's undercover time comes to an end, and he invites his employees to reveal his true identity. First in was Rocco. Todd confesses to throwing away the hot dogs, and he then informs him that he'll be getting the Lifetime Achievement Award and a $1,000 bonus.
Today is a great day for me. Did I earn it? Yes, I did. But I am so happy right now.